Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to the course of Development Planning and Administration, MPA 403, and today is lecture number 25. And I'm your facilitator, Professor Dr. Muhammad Majid Mahmood Bagram. So before we move on to our today's topic of discussion, let us have a brief reflection of our previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we have talked about compensation. And we have also talked about the relationship of planning and administration with respect to compensation management. As we know that when we develop our plans and when we make our administrative strategies, we need to take care of various factors, and one of those most important factor is compensation. So when we talk about compensation, what is meant by compensation? Now, compensation means that, like, you are providing, like here we are talking about the employees. Now, employees are providing their services to the organization, and in return, they are getting the salaries. In return, they are getting incentives. In return, they are getting any non-financial reward. So when we talk about compensation, there are two types of compensation. One is called financial compensation. The other is called non-financial compensation. Now, what each of these mean? Financial compensation mean that your salary, bonuses, allowances, so any monetary benefit you are getting from the organization is called financial compensation. Now, the second type of compensation is non-financial compensation. Now, non-financial compensation includes appreciation, moral encouragement, training and development, things like that. According to research, when we talk about long-term benefits, non-financial rewards they have a stronger impact than financial rewards. So the planners and administrators, they not only focus on improving the financial reward system, but at the same time they do their level best to focus more on improving and strengthening the non-financial reward system of their organizations. So when we are making our plans in an organization, so compensation policy is given the most importance in that planning document. And you know, like when we talk about resources, there are four types of resources called human resource, financial resource, physical resource, and information resource. Now, there are four types of resources. Now, when you know, in planning document, what you need to do is, as a planner, you need to allocate these resources. Now, this allocation, when you do this allocation of resources, of course, you need to, like for example, the most important resource is the human resource. So you have the existing employees, and maybe you are going to hire new employees, or you are going to outsource your activities. So in order to perform various functions, of course, organizations, they need to pay their employees. So in planning, you document each and everything. As proactive planner, what the good planners do as a proactive planner, they plan in advance, they forecast, they estimate, and on the basis of their forecast, on the basis of their estimate, they make their policies. And particularly when they develop their compensation policy, वो अपने माइंड में तमाम फैक्टर्स को रखते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स लाइक कंपैटिटर्स, सैलरीज टू देयर एम्प्लॉइज, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स इन्फ्लेशन रेट, जिस लोकेलिटी में, जिस इलाके में आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फंक्शन कर रही है वहाँ का जो लाइक एक वर्किंग स्टाइल क्या है, लाइफ स्टाइल क्या है, और जिस so all of these factors are very important when developing and designing your compensation policy. So we have talked about in our previous lecture about employees who feel that their input is equal to their compensation. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एक एम्प्लॉई एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए काम कर रहा है, अपनी सर्विसेज दे रहा है, तो उसके रिजल्ट में जो वो कंपनसेशन ले रहा है दैट शुड इक्वल द इनपुट एटलीस्ट. व्हाई आई एम सेइंग एटलीस्ट? बिकॉज दिस शुड बी द मिनिमम स्टैंडर्ड दैट एम्प्लॉई के इनपुट के मुताबिक उसकी एक कंपनसेशन होनी चाहिए. बट द बेस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस who are setting the benchmarks in the world, they give better compensation than the input. Like for example, input is like for example, employee is working from morning to evening 9 to 5 p.m. and input is for example this much, and their compensation is like this much. So the best employers, they are not trying to meet the expectations of their employees, they are trying to exceed the expectations of their employees, and as a result they unlock that potential. So in order to promote creativity and innovation in any organization, in order to enhance the performance of your employees, compensation policy of any organization has a very important role there. Now let us move towards our today's topic of discussion, and that is, some will never see the inside of the school. Now I want you to look at this picture very closely. Okay, what do you see? Do you feel anything? Okay. So I strongly believe that all of you want that this child should go in school. So let us talk about this issue. This picture shows, the kids in like in a school. Now today's topic is educational planning, various issues and strategies to overcome those issues. So when we talk about development planning and administration, of course educational planning is one of the most important areas. So as a result of effective planning, we create success, like different professions, male, female, working together as a team, doing their best. So whenever we talk about proactive plans, we can ensure that we move in the right direction. We are trying to do our level best. We are trying to set the highest standards in the world. So that is only possible with effective planning. And of course effective planning की जो हम देखते हैं कि what is the real force behind effective planning is, of course, the education. Now if we have poor educational planning, if we have lack of planning when we talk about our educational system, so that will move us towards decline of motivation of employees. They will be incompetent, and we are not promoting positive conflict. Now what do we mean by positive conflict? Positive conflict means that you give your own point of view. and how people give their wonderful point of view with the help of education. So today's lecture is going to focus on planning, and of course with a particular reference to education. So where does planning fit? Now, what comes in your mind? Planning की आपको कहाँ कहाँ ज़रूरत हो सकती है in your organization? So putting the pieces together, and thus let's see. Planning is needed everywhere. Whether you talk about continuing education, like जब हम बात करते हैं लर्निंग की, एजुकेशन की, it is a continuous process. So people who are continuing their education, like learning is an ongoing process. Same is the case here in continuing education. Curriculum design. Of course, our educational system is dependent on curriculum design. And of course, you need to have plans there as well. So without proactive planning, it is not possible to design the curriculum according to the market needs. So आजकल जब हम बात करते हैं कि we have different sectors like telecom sector, automobile sector, educational sector, health sector, we have various sectors in the world. So उन sectors में जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं, उन employers की जो needs हैं, उन employers की जो challenges हैं, उन challenges को overcome करने के लिए, उनकी problems को manage करने के लिए, now they have created a link with various universities. Like now we have these days, there is a link between university and the industry. So this is called industry academia linkages. So what the industry is doing in the world is they are helping the educational sector. They are helping the planners in educational sector to develop those type of curriculum that really help the organizations in different sectors to solve their existing problems. Customized trainings are there. Of course, as a result of effective planning, you go for customized training. And what do we mean by customized training? आपके दिमाग में क्या आता है जब हम बात करते हैं ट्रेनिंग की? सबसे पहले हम बात करते हैं Now training means learning existing job skill requirement. And what do we mean by customized training? Customized training means that, like for example, we have one organization called ABC organization, for example. Now this ABC organization, they have some particular training needs. Now how do you know that they need certain skills? So these days we do that training need analysis, or we also use another terminology for this. It's called skill gap analysis. So you do that TNA, training need analysis. So how you do that? There are different methods. Like for example, questionnaires, interviews, observation. So आप क्या करते हैं? You develop questionnaires, you circulate those questionnaires in the organization. Employees, they fill those questionnaires. You get back those questionnaires, you put the questionnaires, feed the questionnaires in some computer softwares, and those different softwares like SPSS and some other softwares, they analyze those softwares. They analyze that information, and they give you results. So with the help of different computer softwares, one is able to identify the common major weaknesses of employees. And on the basis of those common major weaknesses, training programs are designed, and that is called customized training programs. Some research departments of organizations, what they do is they go for interviews, because sometimes what happens that employees are unaware about their own weaknesses. So you need to talk to them, you need to ask them questions, you need to discuss with your employees. So after informal or formal interviews, depending on the situation in the organization, you get the real information, and based on that information you design their training programs. And another method we use for identifying the real training needs of an organization is called observation. Like you observe people, how they work, how they interact with each other, because sometimes you are unable to get the answer with the help of questionnaires or interviews. So you go for observation, you observe, you watch your employees while they are working, and then you write down your observations, and based on your observations you develop and design training programs. So researchers are of the view that you can use one or more than one of these methods to identify the real needs of your employees. Unfortunately, in developing countries, there are not so many trainings going on, और जो भी trainings हो रही हैं उसमें आप अगर जाके knowledge लें, information लें, तो आप participants से पूछें कि क्या उनका training need analysis हुआ था, क्या उनका इंटरव्यू उनसे लिया गया बिफोर ट्रेनिंग, क्या उनसे कोई क्वेश्चनर फिल करवाया गया, क्या उनको ऑब्जर्व किया गया. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द ट्रेनिंग पार्टिसिपेंट्स दे विल से नो. सो व्हाट डज इट मीन कि जब आप अपने ट्रेनिंग डिजाइन करने से पहले अगर आप ट्रेनिंग नीड एनालिसिस नहीं करेंगे तो हाउ यू विल नो कि एम्प्लॉयज की रियल वीकनेसेस क्या हैं. तो बजाय ये कि एक जनरल किस्म की ट्रेनिंग सबको देने के, यू नीड टू गिव स्पेसिफिक ट्रेनिंग टू द एम्प्लॉयज. सो दीज डेज जब हम बात करते हैं बेस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की, सो दे फोकस मोर ऑन customized trainings. And of course your planning people, they are helping you here as well. Then we talk about career management. The planning people, they design, they develop that ladder. Like they plan that, for example, in human resource planning, they design the position, and then after the job analysis, job description, job specifications, they design that, for example, one position like this is entry level position. So after few years, the person we hire on, for example, in grade 17, BPS 17, so that person will get promotion. तो उसका एक पूरा एक career plan करते हैं वो planners. And then small business centers. So here we talk about entrepreneurs. Here we talk about those people who are trying to run their small business centers. And of course, planning has a very important role there, because without planning, it is not possible to establish or run or to be successful in the market. Workforce development. Now, workforce development means what? Workforce means your employees, the manpower, the human resources. These days, we talk about highly diversified workforce. Now, we have like males and females working in the same office. We have people from different cultures, different religions, different locations, having different cultures working in the same organization. So there is a highly diversified workforce. So it becomes really a big challenge to planners and particularly to administrators to manage that highly diversified workforce. So you need to manage the highly diversified workforce, and then of course you need to focus on their development as well. So it is a heterogeneous group. So due to differences in culture, educational backgrounds, religion, and other things, people are different. In some cases, they have a totally different point of view. So developing that workforce is one of the major focus of planners. And finally, job link. Of course, we talk about websites. We talk about, how to attract the best employees, how to attract the best talent from the market. So you need to create that job link. Like you develop that job portals. So in your website, you give that job link and people, they can apply through your website. So a lot of planning is involved here as well. So whether you talk about continuing education, curriculum, customized training, career management, having small business centers, workforce development, or you talk about job link, planning is required everywhere. So none of the area, is without planning. In this age, it is easy to reach outer space or any part of the world within a relatively short time. But it is still a major problem to transmit, get knowledge even to or from our next door colleague. Now this is really so strange. And this is not a happy news. So due to technology, one can go from one place of the earth to other place within few minutes, within few hours. But it is still a major problem कि जो आपका next door है, जो आपका colleague है, जो आपका neighbor है, जो आपके ऑफिस में पर्सन काम कर रहे हैं, आप उनको knowledge ट्रांसफर करें या उनसे नॉलेज आप हासिल करें. सो इट इज स्टिल अ बिग प्रॉब्लम, अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. तो इंसान टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से कहां पहुंच चुका है, चांद तक पहुंच चुका है, मार्स तक पहुंच चुका है. बट जब हम बात करते हैं नॉलेज ट्रांसफर की, तो स्टिल इट इज वन ऑफ द मेजर प्रॉब्लम्स. Education is an instrument of socio-economic and political change for the better. Without education, there is ignorance, and ignorance leads to poverty. Poverty leads to disease, and disease leads to death. Now, these are the facts. And this shows the extreme importance of education. इस्लाम कहता है इल्म हासिल करो महद से लेकर लहद तक. इस दुनिया में आने से लेके इस दुनिया से जाने तक इल्म हासिल करो. Now, what does it mean? It means that education is the most important factor in our lives, because without education there is ignorance. So education really opens your eyes. Education gives you awareness. Education tells you who you are. And then of course ignorance leads to poverty. जब तक आप लोगों को एजुकेशन नहीं देंगे, जब तक आप लोगों को नॉलेज नहीं देंगे, तो ऑफ कोर्स it will lead to poverty, and of course poverty leads to disease, and disease leads to death. So without education you can see well that कि हम किस तरफ को जा सकते हैं. So that shows the vital importance of education in any society, in any country of the world. Particularly जब हम पाकिस्तान की बात करते हैं, तो of course as a Pakistani, as a Muslim, we want to make Pakistan a wonderful place to live in. We really want to improve the economic stability of our country. We really want to create our own technology. We really want to become the superpower. So how this is possible without education? This is really one of the most important concerns. So when we talk about effective planning and effective administration in our organization, education is mandatory. Now let's talk about the national commitments of Pakistan. According to the Constitution of Pakistan 1973, it says, "State shall be responsible for eradication of illiteracy and provision of free and compulsory education up to secondary level within minimum possible time." Article 37B, 1973 Constitution of Pakistan. So that shows the major responsibility of the government of Pakistan. Pakistan commitment: 86% literacy to be achieved by 2015. Now that is Pakistan's commitment. Now talking about the human development in South and West Asia. On left side you see the countries. On the right side you see the public expenditure on education as percentage of GDP. India, it is 3.3%. Iran, 5.2%. Pakistan, it is only 1.25%. Sri Lanka, 5.4%. Maldives, 8.3%. Nepal, 3.2%. Bangladesh, 2.8%. Now when you look at the public expenditure on education in these different countries of South and West Asia, you see where Pakistan stands. So this table clearly communicates that the spending on education is one of the lowest in South and West Asia when we talk about Pakistan. Now talking about the education budget in Pakistan, 1995 to 96 to 2008-9, we see that in 1995-96, the percentage of GDP was 2. In 1996-97, it was 2.62% of GDP. In 1997-98, it was 2.34. In 98-99, it was 2.40. In 99-2000, it was 1.7. In 2000-2001, it was 1.6. In 2001-2002, it was 1.9. In 2002-2003, it was 1.7. In 2003 to 2004, the percentage of GDP was 2.2. And in 2004-05, it was 2.12. In 2005-06, it was 2.40. In 2006 to 2007, it was 2.42. In 2007 to 2008, it was 2.49. But in 2008 to 2009, it came down to only 1.2% of GDP. Now, all of these figures and facts are self-explanatory. Now let us talk about the preconditions for success of educational programs. Talking about the VN, literacy programs based on an agenda of social change, including functional literacy, income generation skills. Learners cannot be attracted just for alphabets. Literacy for a cause. Now, let us discuss this point. Learners cannot be attracted just for alphabets. Literacy for a cause. So, we need to have a VN. So we need to give this VN to our people of Pakistan, that why literacy is so important. What are the benefits of education? So there should be a cause whenever we talk about literacy, including post-literacy and continuing education beyond basic literacy. Now talking about leadership, literacy movement demands leadership, not merely the funds. Very important. Sometimes, it is believed that by just providing the funds, we can manage the problems. We can, face the challenges. But this is not the true fact. The real thing is we need the ideal leaders, not only the funds. Organizational structure, expertise for training, material development, research and evaluation. So when we talk about improvement in organizational structure, of course, we need to develop expertise for training. So how one can do that? With the help of customized training programs, material development, and of course, research and evaluation. So these areas are really very important when we talk about planning. Consistent policy and approach. Of course, this is one of the preconditions for success of educational programs, because there must be a consistent policy and approach. एक government आती है, they have one policy and one approach. Next government comes, they come up with a new policy and new approach. So what happens to the previous approach? What happens to the previous policy? Now this is really a major concern. And the governments, they need to look at this factor as well, that why not they focus and why not they adopt the good policies and good approaches. So there should be, respect for each other. Now an analysis of educational programs in Pakistan. These are the challenges. These are the issues. And the most important issue is there is a commitment gap. Now, what is the root cause of commitment gap? And that is attitude and behavior. How do you differentiate attitude and behavior? Now, attitude is the way you think, your perception, the thinking. That is something which is going in your brain. जो आप सोच रहे हैं, that is your attitude. And behavior is your action, your body language. So, when we talk about commitment gap, there is something wrong with the motivation. Like there is lack of commitment. So, what is required here? Improvement in attitude and behavior. And that improvement should be on the positive side. So we need to focus on building and strengthening the commitment in order to minimize or eliminate this gap. क्योंकि जब तक एक कमिटमेंट नहीं होगी उस वक्त तक पॉजिटिव चेंजेस को इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं किया जा सकता. So we need a more stronger commitment in order to overcome the educational issues and educational challenges in Pakistan. And this is one of the key job responsibilities of planners, that they need to, design documents in a way that strengthens the system. And when we talk about implementation, administrators are there. So your planning and administrative strategies, they should be highly aligned, and these should focus on strengthening the system of an organization. And once you are able to strengthen the systems of an organization, we can overcome this problem and we can develop and strengthen commitment which is required. Policy gap. A clear and strong policy on education is missing. जो हमने पिछले अभी टेबल में देखा कि with the passage of time जो percentage of GDP है जो allocate किया गया public expenditure for education in Pakistan, so with the passage of time it is moving towards the declining stage. के बजाय ज़्यादा होने के ये मज़ीद वक्त के साथ साथ कम होता जा रहा है. So it means that a clear policy is missing, because if you have a very clear-cut policy on education, how this is possible that your percentage of GDP for education is on decline? Organizational gap. Absence of permanent organizational structure led to coordination gap. This is really very important, that there must be high coordination. There must be a permanent organizational structure. So जब आप, like for example, organizations के अंदर you are hiring people on contractual basis, you are like hiring people on daily wages, तो of course उसका impact क्या है कि there is lack of coordination. उसके अंदर different एक biases create हो जाते हैं कि some of the employees they are regular, some of the employees they are on contractual positions. We are talking about the public sector of Pakistan, and particularly जब हम बात करते हैं coordination and cooperation की, employees they need a peace of mind. And this peace of mind is like totally different when we talk about peace of mind of contractual employees, daily wages employees, on the other side the regular employees. So we need to move towards more coordination and cooperation, and we need to secure, provide provide secure jobs to our employees. Then is the financial resources gap. Limited financial assistance and uncertainty about funding. तो पहले तो फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस ही बहुत कम है और उसके साथ साथ एक अनसर्टेनिटी है अबाउट फंडिंग कि आने वाले दिनों में आपको फंडिंग होगी नहीं होगी, यू विल गेट फंड्स और नॉट, देयर इज हाई अनसर्टेनिटी. तो न सिर्फ ये कि फंडिंग कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं, आपके पास लिमिटेड फंडिंग है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ एक अनसर्टेनिटी भी है कि नेक्स्ट जो आपको अगर इंस्टॉलमेंट मिलनी जा रही है, नेक्स्ट फंडिंग आपको मिलने जा रही है, तो उसके बारे में यू आर नॉट 100% श्योर कि यू विल गेट इट और नॉट. एंड ऑफ कोर्स दैट विल रिजल्ट इन हाई स्ट्रेस एंड दैट विल रिजल्ट इन पुअर परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज. टेक्निकल कैपेसिटी गैप. Now, all of your employees are not well trained. They need trainings. And when we talk about technical capacity gap, so जब हम देखते हैं जो लोग जो टेक्निकल पोजीशंस पे काम कर रहे हैं, पर्टिकुलरली वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा गैप्स आइडेंटिफाई किए गए कि उन लोगों को जो जो टेक्निकल एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए थी वो उनके पास नहीं थी इन मोस्ट केसेस. तो उसके लिए डेफिनेटली जैसे हमने पहले बात की कि दे नीड टू अटेंड ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स एंड दोज ट्रेनिंग्स प्रोग्राम्स शुड बी कस्टमाइज्ड ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स. ये ना हो कि जो आपके एम्प्लॉयज की रियल वीकनेसेस हैं उसको इग्नोर कर दिया जाए और एक जनरल किस्म का ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम वो अटेंड करके आ जाएं, जिससे जाहिर बात है कि टाइम और पैसे का ज़िया हो लेकिन जो बेनिफिट्स हैं वो बहुत कम हो. Now let's look at the misery index. When we talk about Pakistan, Pakistan ranks among the bottom 5 countries of the world as far as the public expenditure on education as a percentage of total public spending is concerned. Now this is really, a very sad situation. Despite the government's claims that education is its top priority, public spending on it during 2008-9 is only 1.2% of the GDP against the UNESCO recommended norm of a minimum of 4% of GDP. तो जो अकॉर्डिंग टू यूनेस्को स्टैंडर्ड है कि एजुकेशन के लिए मिनिमम 4% ऑफ जीडीपी आपने एलोकेट करना है, बट इन रियलिटी इन पाकिस्तान व्हेन वी लुक एट द ईयर 2008-9 it was only 1.25% of GDP. So there is a big gap. So when we talk about the government schools, 15% of government schools are without buildings. 52% of the schools are without boundary walls. 40% are without water, so there is no water facility. 71% of the schools are without electricity, and 57% of the schools are without toilets. So, talking about the financial resources, talking about the basic needs, talking about the water, electricity, and other hygienic requirements, the situation is really miserable. Of the millions of people added to the population every year, some only work to earn their livelihood. Now this is really very important, to know that पॉपुलेशन में बहुत तेजी से इजाफा हो रहा है पाकिस्तान में, एंड बहुत से लोग पाकिस्तान में जब हम बात करते हैं वो सिर्फ हैंड टू माउथ कंडीशंस हैं, तो वो सिर्फ जिंदा रहने के लिए दे आर वर्किंग एंड दे आर अर्निंग, और इससे आगे उनका लाइफस्टाइल नहीं बढ़ा। Now talking about the educational sector of Pakistan, let us discuss the various issues. Now talking about the issues in educational sector of Pakistan, the first one is the low access rate, lack of confidence in the public sector schools to deliver quality education. Now this is really a big challenge, a big issue when we talk about the public sector schools, because people who want to send their children for education, they have a lack of confidence in the public sector schools. वहाँ पे quality के बहुत issues हैं. Now what are the root causes why the public sector schools are not performing? Why they are not giving the best quality in most cases? Now what is the root cause? Of course there are many reasons. जैसे हमने पहले बात की कि there is lack of support, there are lack of resources, funding के issues हैं, financial constraints हैं, lack of trainings for teachers, and of course जो compensation policy है teachers के लिए, that is not of that good level. So when teachers are not getting good salaries, when there are no ongoing training programs for teachers, when there is basic needs are not available in school buildings, so of course performance is declining. Parents either shift their kids to private schools or absorb additional financial burden by arranging private tuitions. Another issue when we talk about the educational sector of Pakistan is कि या तो वो पेरेंट्स जिनके पास एक परचेजिंग पावर है, जो प्राइवेट स्कूल्स की फीसेस दे सकते हैं, तो वो अपने बच्चों को पब्लिक स्कूल से उठाकर प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में उनको एडमिशन दिलवा रहे हैं, या फिर बच्चा तो उनका पब्लिक स्कूल में ही पढ़ रहा है लेकिन वो उस बच्चे के लिए प्राइवेट ट्यूशन्स अरेंज करते हैं जो कि उनके ऊपर एक एडिशनल फाइनेंशियल बर्डन की सूरत में उनके ऊपर एक इम्पैक्ट होता है. जो पैसा पेरेंट्स अपनी फॉर एग्जांपल अपनी बाकी ज़रूरियात पे खर्च कर सकते थे, वो उनको प्राइवेट ट्यूशन्स पे खर्च करना पड़ रहा है, उनको प्राइवेट स्कूल की फीसेस जो है उसमें खर्च करना पड़ रहा है. If neither is affordable, the households prefer to have their children drop out from school and join income earning activities. So due to poverty in Pakistan, जैसे हमने पहले बात की कि people are from hand to mouth situation in most cases, तो they don't have money कि वो अपने बच्चे को स्कूल भेज सकें, they don't have money कि वो अपने किचन को रन कर सकें. तो what they do is बच्चे को स्कूल से वो उठा लेते और बच्चे को मुख्तलिफ इनकम जनरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज में इन्वॉल्व करते हैं ताकि बच्चा घर के लिए कुछ पैसा कमा के लाए ताकि किचन रन हो सके, बेसिक नीड्स वो हासिल कर सकें. The average student of the public sector education system cannot compete in the job market and it leads to social exclusion of the already poor. So in most cases public sector school से जो बच्चे जो उस सिस्टम से आगे जा रहे हैं, तो फॉर एग्जांपल वो जॉब मार्केट में उतना बेहतर तरह से compete नहीं कर पाते. फॉर एग्जांपल जब हम प्राइवेट स्कूल्स की बात करते हैं तो वो क्लास 1 से कंप्यूटर एक लिटरेसी देना शुरू करते हैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को, प्रेजेंटेशंस के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं, उनकी कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं, इंग्लिश एज इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज के ऊपर फोकस करते हैं। सो उनकी एनालिटिकल स्किल्स, उनकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स, इनके ऊपर फोकस करते हैं, उनके एटीट्यूड एंड बिहेवियर के ऊपर वर्किंग करते हैं, उनको मुख्तलिफ सेमिनार्स में भेजते हैं, वर्कशॉप्स में भेजते हैं, उनको मुख्तलिफ फील्ड विजिट्स करवाए जाते हैं इन प्राइवेट स्कूल्स। बट ऑन द अदर साइड जब हम पब्लिक सेक्टर स्कूल्स की बात करते हैं तो वो वहां पे ये चीजें ना होने के बराबर है। सो एज ए रिजल्ट क्या होता है कि जब वो बच्चे जो प्राइवेट स्कूल से पढ़ के आ रहे हैं और वो बच्चे जो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल से पढ़ के आ रहे हैं, जब ये मुख्तलिफ जॉब्स के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं तो वहां पे डेफिनेटली जब हम देखते हैं इन कंपैरिजन तो मेजॉरिटी वो बच्चे जो प्राइवेट स्कूल से पढ़ के आ रहे हैं उनकी परफॉर्मेंस बेहतर देखी गई एज कंपेयर टू उन बच्चों के जो पब्लिक स्कूल से पढ़ के आ रहे हैं इन मेजॉरिटी केसेस। तो जो लोग ऑलरेडी पुअर हैं वो मजीद पुअर हो जाते हैं, उनकी मजीद वो अपने एक अलग हो जाते हैं, एक उस मजीद डिक्लाइन की तरफ चले जाते हैं। टीचर्स एब्सेंटिज्म, ghost schools, cheating in examinations are a widespread phenomena. टीचर्स जो हैं अक्सर देखा गया कि वो एब्सेंट हैं, क्लासेस को टाइम पे नहीं ले रहे। देयर आर ghost schools, लाइक पेपर के अंदर तो लिखा हुआ है कि जी इस इलाके में ये वाला स्कूल है, लेकिन जब आप उस इलाके में जाके चेक करते हैं, देखते हैं तो वहां उस स्कूल का नामो निशान ही नहीं है। बट उस स्कूल के टीचर्स को सैलरीज मिल रही हैं वगैरह वगैरह। चीटिंग इन एग्जामिनेशंस अगेन इज अ बिग इशू। प्राइमरी sufferers are the most poor and underprivileged in the system. और ख़ास तौर पे जो ये वो लोग सफ़र करते हैं जो ऑलरेडी बहुत पुअर हैं, अंडर प्रिविलेज्ड हैं ऑलरेडी इन द सिस्टम। तो नाउ यू सी कि गरीब जो है वो और गरीब होता जा रहा है और अमीर जो है वो और अमीर होता जा रहा है। सो these are the root causes when we talk about the educational sector and particularly public educational sector in Pakistan. Now talking about the implementation gap when we talk about the issues in Pakistani educational sector, mismanagement of allocation and use of resources. Now this is a common observation that के जो resources हैं, human resource, financial resource, physical resource and information resource, तो ये जो 4 तरह के resources हैं, इनकी जो allocation है और इनकी जो usage है उसमें बहुत mismanagement देखने में आ रही है। तो जिस तरह से जिस बेदरेग एक तरह से पब्लिक सेक्टर में रिसोर्सेज को वेस्ट किया जाता है, पर्सनल बेनिफिट्स के लिए यूज किया जाता है, ये कॉमन ऑब्जर्वेशन देखने में आती है। उसके साथ साथ लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल जिन एरियाज को ज्यादा फंड्स की जरूरत है, बजाय उनको ज्यादा फंडिंग करने के आप उनको इग्नोर जब करते हैं तो डेफिनेटली जो रिजल्ट्स हैं वो पुअर से पुअरतर होते चले जाते हैं। सो यहां पे हम बात करेंगे कि एक तो पहले ही लैक ऑफ रिसोर्सेज हैं, उसके बावजूद जब रिसोर्सेज की एलोकेशन और यूजेज की बात आती है तो मजीद उनको वेस्ट किया जाता है। amounts of allocated development funds remaining unutilized. ये एक बहुत बड़ा एक और ट्रेजेडी हमें नजर आती है कि पहले तो फंडिंग की नहीं जाती या बहुत कम की जा रही है, और जो एजुकेशनल सेक्टर में जहां फंडिंग की गई है तो अक्सर ये देखने में आया कि वहां जो बेशतर जो फंड्स हैं उसको यूटिलाइज ही नहीं किया गया. नाउ दैट इज ए फेलियर ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स. That is a failure on the part of planners. को जो एजुकेशनल सेक्टर में जो प्लानर्स हैं, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स हैं, they need to ensure that कि फंडिंग इन टाइम उनको मिले और जो फंड्स उनको मिले हैं उनको प्रॉपरली यूटिलाइज किया जाए विद इन द गिवन टाइम फ्रेम. लैक ऑफ प्लानिंग we see in the educational sector of Pakistan. Like कि आपके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या हैं, आपके गोल्स क्या हैं, आपकी स्ट्रेटजीज क्या हैं. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल कि एक बच्चा जब एडमिशन लेता है स्कूल में तो क्या उसके लिए जो करिकुलम है उसको वही करिकुलम दिया जा रहा है जो मार्केट की नीड्स के मुताबिक है. जब बच्चा क्लासेस में आगे बढ़ रहा है तो क्या उसकी एप्टीट्यूड टेस्टिंग की जा रही है. हमारे यहां देखा गया अक्सर पाकिस्तान में कि एक वक्त था कि सारे के सारे लोग चाहते थे कि उनके बच्चे बच्चियां जो हैं वो डॉक्टर बन जाए. फिर उसके बाद एक दौर आया कि सब लोग चाहते थे कि उनके बच्चे बच्चियां जो है वो इंजीनियर्स बन जाएं. और आजकल जब हम बात करते हैं तो everybody is moving towards business education. So what is going on? That it is called unscientific method of tenacity. That एक भेड़ चाल जारी है. People follow others blindly without looking at the benefits. बगैर ये सोचे कि do they fit? Do their kids have that aptitude which is required for certain qualification, for certain careers? So what we need to do here is we need to focus on ensuring that we develop our goals and objectives and strategies as per the international standards. Otherwise we cannot bring major positive improvements in the educational sector of Pakistan. And there is another major challenge we face in the educational sector of Pakistan, and that is of accountability. There is lack of accountability. Now what do we mean by accountability? It means that whatever you do in your organization, for example somebody is working as a administrator, so there are certain responsibilities he or she has to perform. And of course when those persons working as an administrator, they perform different official responsibilities, they are also accountable for their actions, and they are also accountable for their decisions. So when we talk about corruption in Pakistan, what is the root cause? One major root cause is there is lack of accountability in the public sector of Pakistan. So if we want to make Pakistan a better place to live in, we need to improve the accountability aspect here. So we give huge high authority to our administrators and planners. On the other side, if there is no equal accountability, so we need to have an alignment between the responsibility, authority and accountability. So when we have that alignment, we can strengthen our system and we can minimize these issues in Pakistan. Another major issue when we talk about the educational sector of Pakistan is lack of constant monitoring. Now monitoring and evaluation is really very important. So this is a mechanism which helps the organization to ensure improved performance. Now, organizations having strong monetary systems, they are able to identify the problems at an early stage. And I always say one thing, that problem is not a problem. The way we see the problem is the real problem. And problem is actually an opportunity. Early the better. So monitoring mechanism helps an organization to identify their problems at an early stage. और जितनी जल्दी प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफिकेशन होगी इतनी ही बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, और जितनी देर से प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफिकेशन होगी उतनी ही एक लो अपॉर्चुनिटी है. सो वी नीड टू build and strengthen our monitoring mechanisms in our organization, particularly with reference to educational sector of Pakistan. So whose responsibility is this to ensure this monitoring? Of course, our planners. They need to design documents in a way that ensures proper monitoring. And who is going to implement it? Of course, our administrators. So when we talk about development planning and administration, so these are the major responsibilities on the shoulders of planners and administrators who plan and then who implement. Talking about equity in education, there is a divide between the prevalent school structure and differences in levels of infrastructure and facilities, media of instruction, emolument of teachers, and even examination systems between public and private schools. So there is no balance. Like for example, most of the private schools in Pakistan, they are using international curriculum. But when we talk about the public sector schools in Pakistan, they are following only the local curriculum. Of course, we need to have good awareness about our local, activities. We need to see that whatever is going around us is really very important. But at the same time, we need to study those international standards as well. The rich send their children to privately run English medium schools which offer foreign curricula and examination systems. The public schools enroll those who are too poor. So now you see that there is a big gap. And this gap is increasing day by day. Talking about the issues in educational sector, there is a gender bias. It starts early within the family, keeps women at disadvantageous position, discriminatory social norms, missing incentives, lack of access to educational institutions, educational expense, household duties, and there are parental ignorance. So there is, some biasness against, women. So we need to give them equal access, we need to provide them equal incentives, particularly with reference to education. Now talking about the quality of provision, what about the teacher and pupil ratio? Pupil means the students. So what is the accurate ratio? What is the international standard of teacher-student ratio in order to achieve the benchmarks? We need to follow the international standards. And talking about the qualifications of teachers, most important thing I would say here that, so we need to have only those teachers in our schools, colleges and universities who having the best qualifications, most talented people, and most important thing is having strongest communication skills. So every person cannot become a good teacher. So while hiring teachers for your institution, you need to ensure that you only hire a teacher having a highly positive aptitude. So persons having weak aptitude towards teaching, they should never be hired. Dropout rates are increasing day by day, particularly when we talk about the public sector schools. So if you improve the teacher quality, if you improve the class quality, and if you ensure providing better resources to public sector schools, we can minimize the dropout rates of students. And finally, course content. We need to develop a course content which is as per ground reality. So as we earlier discussed that there should be industry-academia linkages. So when we have those industry-academia linkages, so we need to design curriculum, we need to design the content as per the requirements of our employers, as per the requirements of our different industry in Pakistan. And of course, we need to look at the requirements of international multinational companies and their employers as well. So it is the major responsibility of planners and administrators to work on these areas. Now these are the challenges when we talk about development planning and administration. And the most important, the biggest challenge I would say that is of communications. The increasing diversity of today's workforce brings a wide variety of languages and customs. So we have a highly diversified workforce, so it is becoming really difficult for administrators to manage this workforce. But at the same time, highly diversified workforce can give you better, ideas, can take you towards creativity and innovation. There is increased competition. So increased competition in today's global marketplace makes it critical that educational planners understand and meet the needs of students. And then are the ethics. Today's society has increasing expectations about social responsibility. Also, today's diverse workforce brings a wide variety of values and morals to the workplace. And finally, talking about the human relations, the increased stresses of today's workplace can include misunderstandings and conflict. So these are the major challenges. And finally, a strategy for Pakistan. A vision, a national framework development. That is what is required when we talk about a better vision. A commitment. Political leadership, ministers, parliamentarians, and political parties' support is a must. And talking about the partnerships, joint federal and provincial agreements, coordination, monitoring structures and processes are required, and guaranteed financial resources. So we need to provide and we need to ensure that we provide the human, financial, physical and information resources to our planners and to our administrators in order to ensure the achievement of their goals and objectives. There should be clear roles and responsibilities. So clearly spelling out role and responsibilities of federal and provincial governments and district governments. And finally, a strong professional base. An institute of resource center for technical tasks like training, material development, research, etc. is required. So when you look at this slide, you can see that this is a strategy which is required in Pakistan for improvement of education. So our planners and administrators, they also need to focus on these recommendations. So I hope that you have learned a lot through this lecture today. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Khuda Hafiz.